Welcome to Christchurch Chats. It's Easter Sunday.
Hooray! Hooray!
That was pathetic. You've deliberately trolled me now, haven't you? You've deliberately done that just to annoy me, haven't you? Right? I've told you all to be joyful, and you failed. Sorry. Okay. So what we're going to try and do now, rather than failing at being joyful, right, is we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about who God is and what does he look like. So in Jesus, in the resurrection, people meet the risen Jesus. And I was wondering, because we've talked about this before once or twice, is if the question was asked of you, who is God and what does he look like? Jill, what would you say?
I would say that God is beautiful, and he is joy, and he's all those lovely things, peace. He shows himself because we can't see him, because in fact we are told in the Bible that if you see God you will die.
Well, you didn't see him much in that joy at the beginning of this video, did you?
No. I think he's just started to appear now, but so because of that, he shows himself in ways that we can see, like in the beauty of the earth, the flowers and sunsets and stuff like that. To me, that's what God looks like.
So it's in the fruits of what we see and the experiences we have of joy from within.
Yes, yeah.
So have you ever had a moment of joy, a moment of wonder like that sticks in your head?
Well, I suppose the first time I really spoke to him, I was in a field, and it was a miserable old day, but I did feel this wonderfulness inside. That's the only way I can explain it.
Wonderfulness.
Wonderfulness, yes.
That's quite a good one. Alison, who is God? What does God look like to you then?
I had a very beautiful experience. After being on a retreat in North Wales, I went down to the beach at Llanbedrog, and I was just sitting there, and Jesus was sitting below me on the sand. It must have been on a rock on the sand, just looking at me with such love, and what really still shakes me, with such humility. Surely it was me that should look, but it was him looking at me with such humility. And then there is a profoundly incredible moment. It was in the Methodist church one evening.
So I'll just stop you there. Where?
The Methodist.
Oh, right.
Yes, sorry. The Methodist church here. Yeah. And I was aware of this infinitely light touch. It was so beautiful. I thought that could only be divine. And it wasn't for me. It was the knowledge that that was the way people are touched from the moment they have died into being led into heaven. I've experienced it for one person, but realised it was for everybody. It was the lightest of touch, but very real.
So what we're describing here then is a similar sort of thing to what people have described in meeting Jesus in the resurrection. It's an experience which is beyond them.
Yes.
Because none of them, and that's why I love it, is because they haven't got. They don't understand what's going on. They're always trying to capture something which is beyond them.
Yes.
But what we do have is sort of these little flashes where we can recognise the same things. Like Jill called it the wonderfulness inside.
Yes.
And in the road to Emmaus, they say, didn't our hearts burn within us as we walked down the road? So today, people are having these same experiences of divine encounter. Even in the Methodists, that's sort of, wow, do you know what I mean? It's all right, isn't it? I didn't feel, I was a bit worried about where you were going with that in the field, but there we are. Hazel, what about you then?
Well, I've had nothing like they've had whatsoever. And to me, God is nothing, right? And you think, what a wicked woman, don't you? No. So, God is nothing, because when I pray, whatever I'm praying for, or whoever I'm praying for, that is what is in my mind. I see, when I think of God, there was nothing there. There's nothing, no picture. But there's other things, but there's no picture because I don't know what he looks like. Now, if I think of Jesus, I've got an image like that one up there, which is beautiful. But God, there's nothing there because I just don't know what he looks like. But I don't have things like you have. I'm not good enough to have things like you have.
No, it isn't that.
I'm a wicked woman. When I say that God is a nothing, I mean, people are going to think I'm wicked, but it's not. I don't mean it as such like that. I mean that there's nothing there of a picture, but there is other things, nice things there.
What, like?
And things turn out all right for them, and that sort of thing. If you know
Yes.
what I mean. Yeah.
But what you're talking about there, actually, is you're saying God is a nothing. God is beyond an image, right?
Yeah.
That's what they say all the way through the Old Testament, isn't it? Is God, we can't picture what he is because he's beyond our imagination.
You try and draw a picture of him as a person, he's not. You can't do it, can you?
No.
You can draw him as, like you say, the flowers and the beauty. That sort of. You can't draw him as a person.
No.
You can draw the works of God or think about the works of God, what he brings about.
Yeah.
But you can't actually imagine what the source of those works are.
No.
God is the source of everything. He brings everything into life. And in a way, that's even better than having a picture in your head of what God is or seeing it, because it's that knowledge that he will always be beyond, isn't it? Beyond us. I think for me, encountering God, I think over the last sort of few weeks, I've been thinking about the resurrection and about our parish and our community. And I think I see God in my parishioners. I'm not saying that to suck up, because I don't suck up to you, but I think what I see... Don't shake your head, oh no, you don't do that. It's no, but if I think about things like the job club, things like the film and co on a Thursday afternoon, and the joy that we experience, it's the way in which people are welcomed when they come in, and the transformation that I see in people when they've been coming a while, and the joy that they have within themselves, and the hope they have within themselves, and the way in which people are truly welcome to be part of it. And it's a really inclusive community, and that isn't like it is out there. Because in the world, inclusivity means finding out who doesn't agree with me and getting rid of them because they're not inclusive. But here, it's that sense of acceptance we have for each other and that love that we have for each other. And I think that's been really, the last few months, that's been really good to see people grow and flourish and enjoy and welcome, really. So that's been good. So really, where have I seen God, or what does God looks like? He looks like my parishioners. He looks like Hazel. He looks like Hazel. No, he looks at is the joy of a bit of banter with Hazel, the joy of mucking about with Wynne, the joy of sort of having a bit of fun, and a bit of the joy of Jim putting the flagpole up outside.
That was wonderful.
Yeah.
No, and things like that,
it's wonderful.
All that,
Can I tell you that the girl who rents my house, she rang up and said the drains were all blocked. And we went down the other day and they were a mess. And I went to Jim and I said, have you got any rods? And he come along with his rods and he was there for anything you need doing. He says, I'll come and do it. And I won't charge you. I just come and do it because that's how I am.
Yes.
And I thought, how nice.
That's what I mean, that's the thing. So when we think about meeting God, mystical experiences, but actually in the ordinary everyday life, we find those mystical things that point to the beyond, point to that vision of God who's all around us. So that's been really good. So happy Easter to everybody.
Easter eggs.
Easter eggs, yeah. Do you know what I mean? We've got all them. And hopefully we'll have Paul. Pray for Paul because he's working this week. Love him.
Yeah, he is.
So hopefully he'll be back with us next week.
That will be nice. I'm not sure if he's working, but anyway, if he can come, that'll be lovely because he's sad he's missed today.
Oh. So we'll see you next time on Christchurch Chats.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.